Chapter 6. Edith screwed up her face at the cashmere blue parlor walls, crystal table lamps, crystal wine decanters, and clothwood furniture. "I hate coming to this place," she mumbled, placing a Frank Sinatra album on the record player. The music roused Marie, prompting her to fly into the parlor in a yellow nightgown. When she saw Edith, she felt uncomfortable and wondered what the woman was up to. "I remember when I used to get spooked and Edith showed up from out of nowhere. She might boss me, but, still gotta do what Bouchard say. He gives me the willies the way he moves like, blur through this suite." I asked Edith how he could live inside the walls, and told me that the space inside Thar was bigger than I could imagine. How could that be? "Bouchard talks to me through my mind sometimes." Edith told me that was because he tied my cord to his brain like the rest of his people's, and Daddy jumps inside them when he wants to taste and drink the things they eat and drink, and when he want to feel good from the naughty things they be doing. Bouchard probably told Edith to check on Jane, and that's why her here looked like coming from a fancy party. Edith poured a glass of red wine, ignoring Marie. "I guess. Hard drinks to forget about, deal with Bouchard." She's stuck and don't know how to leave him, but I ain't. I can leave when I wants to. I stepped through that gooey stuff. It smelled awful in there, but I came back. I was silly to leave. 'Cause I live much better here as a colored woman than in the outside world. Treddy could never buy me pretty dresses and diamond rings like I gets here. Never in a million years. And I don't miss my badass cheering either. I got a friend here. Though I can't see him, I likes it when he covers me like a blanket and makes me forget about this place. Bouchard told me to make him go away, but I ain't going to. Sue, how come Bouchard can feel good when he jumps inside his peoples and I can't? Mia trotted towards Edith, desiring to be petted and loved. She ignored the cat and turned around to face Marie, acknowledging her finally. "Where's Jane?" she asked. Marie pursed her lips, not wanting to hear the woman's name mentioned. "I wonder how long that uppity talking heifer gonna be round here. I ain't playing second fiddle to no colored woman, and this one thinks her. A white woman, too. Sleep in the living room," Marie replied. Went to sleep after she ate. After leaving the parlor, Edith strolled down the hallway into the living room while enjoying her glass of red wine. She approached Jane, who was asleep on the couch beneath a mink coat, and her head rested on a tote bag. Jane's breathing is well measured, and her face is still glowing, which means the gardenias haven't broken her down yet. Edith took a sip of wine and left the living room. A rippling, translucent blur confronted her in the hallway. What in the hell does Balcourt want? Her brows drew together and her lips tightened. Edith put Marie to sleep. Balcourt's angry voice crackled within her mind. I thought Marie was his pet. Her green eyes glimmered, intrigued by the turn of events. What did she do? That's none of your business. The translucent haze suddenly turned a flaming cherry red. "You just take care of her," he screamed. His voice echoed throughout the caverns of Edith's mind. "He made me put the other colored women to sleep, and now he wants Marie gone too," Edith reflected. "I guess Jane will take Marie's place. I'll put Marie to sleep on Tuesday." Edith hoped her response would send Beaucourt on his merry way, and she noticed the fiery redness of the blur was fading away. "Good," Balcourt remarked, channeling a translucent haziness once more. "Is Jane ready to come aboard?" he asked in a tone of voice soft as a feather. "Yes. I'll take care of Jane on Wednesday," Edith answered, clenching her fists in frustration at the predicament she found herself in as Balcourt's fixer and lieutenant. "If you don't, you'll be sorry." Balcourt disengaged from Edith's mind, burrowed into a wall, contemplating which of his minions he would leap into to forget about Marie's existence. That freak of nature just as much told me that he would cut off my cord and kill me if I didn't follow through. I've repaid my debt to him 100-fold for my resurrection and for his imprisonment of those sluts. I wish I knew how Wendy got away from Beaucourt. Maybe Myra took her in to get back at him. Those siblings, Balcourt and Myra, can't stand each other. Is it true what they say about the males from Myra's house? Edith chewed over. Jane tossed the fur coat back, hurriedly got up from the couch, ran her fingers through her short reddish-brown hair, and went to the kitchenette, headed for the restroom. I don't know if it's Sunday night or Monday morning in this place. There aren't any windows and clocks around here, she mused, entering the restroom. She took a quick look at herself in the bathroom mirror. The whites of my eyes are dark pink now. And why am I feeling a little buzz when I haven't had any alcohol? She wet her face with some warm water, swished a handful of water in her mouth, spat it out in the sink, and dried her face off with a hand towel, realizing that she didn't feel chilly anymore. Afterwards, she left the living room with her tote bag, ignored the gold door, and walked down the hallway into the parlor and gasped on seeing Edith. The woman looks like she just stepped off the cover of Vogue and appears to be 30 years old. 5 feet and 6 inches. She has long brown hair instead of blonde hair like in the oil paintings. Her sweetheart-shaped face is flawlessly made up, and her short, square fingernails are painted the same pink shade as the lipstick. That sleeveless gray lace cocktail dress she's wearing must cost a fortune, as well as those dark gray heels. She certainly doesn't resemble the person that I had in mind, Jane conceded. Sleepy head has awakened. Edith glanced over at Jane, laughing. Edith, I want to go home. Jane fixed her unwavering gaze on Edith's green eyes. People in hell want ice water, Edith laughed. Too bad they can't have any. I see why the ladies in the dressing room hate your guts. Jane cut her dark brown eyes at Edith. You met those sluts. Edith's green eyes glowered, full of loathing for them. Lady, why am I here? Jane's jaws were clenched and she wanted to punch Edith out for toying with her. Settle down, Edith responded. You're here because of your admirer, Bashort. Edith laughed hysterically. If you've seen a blur zooming around the suite, that's him. I did see a blur in the dressing room when I got here, and I remember seeing a blur when I was looking in the wall mirror at the loft, shook it off, Jane reflected. Edith looked over at Marie. Marie, what have you been doing that is Bowsword's boxers in a bunch? Marie looked down at the rug and cold-shouldered Edith. What's with Marie? Why is Beaushort named after the Beaushort Hotel? Jane wondered as Edith gulped down a glass of wine. I've got to get back to my crib. Edith placed the wine glass on a table. I've got a walkthrough on Monday, and I've got to work on mock-ups for my clients. She grinned. And I have a demanding Monday night and Tuesday morning with Adrian. Edith giggled at her lie, knowing Marie and Jane had no clue she had broken up with him because of his cheating. Toodaloo, girls. Edith vanished into thin air. Edith gets to leave this paranormal itch hole and frolic about in the world, while Marie, the human dolls, and I waste away in this place. Jane walked over to the fireplace and secured the poker, then stormed out the parlor, baring her teeth and running down the hallway to the gold door. She opened the door, facing down the foul-smelling gray muck that was percolating and bubbling like lava. She took a step in the direction of the sludge, but was unable to proceed, closed the door. I just can't do it, she sobbed as she ran into the living room, sitting on the couch, and gazed at the closet after failing to escape through the gold door once more. Shortly thereafter, the chattering monkey mind sounded off. Jane, you'll never see Charlotte again. Jane, you'll never see Zora again. Jane, you'll never see your friends again. Will you shut the hell up? Jane shrieked. And at that moment, she remembered the brown shopping bags in the closet. Opening the closet door, she dragged the bags over to the couch. Aware one of the bags contained female Beaucourt Hotel uniforms, she started rummaging through the other two, discovering leather shoulder-strap purses containing wallets, Wrigley's chewing gum, combs, cleaner receipts, invoices, and letters. Consequently, she inspected the wallets and found the owners' names: Sadie Williams, Pearl Johnson, Esther Dixon, Harrietta Gates, Delilah Harrington, and Hattie Mae Grover, as well as photos of them or their family members or friends. I feel like a busybody snooping through their stuff. I'm sure they were abducted like me and the others. Did Marie talk to them or did she ignore them? Whatever happened to these women? The last brown shopping bag contained some women's low-heeled Oxfords, an old photo album, and a slew of beefcake magazines. Jane flipped through the photo album. These snapshots are of Edith and her girlfriends on a Hawaiian vacation. The final page held a snapshot of Edith, clad in a two-piece swimsuit, seated on the lap of a handsome man in swimming trunks that favored Tyrone Power, whom she was kissing. I bet that's Clarence Henry, Jane guessed. She returned all the contents into the brown bags except for the photo album and the beefcake magazines, and brought the brown bags, the fireplace poker, and her tote bag into the parlor. Marie has some explaining to do, she muttered. Marie winced when Jane emptied the contents of the bags onto the parlor's rug in front of her. Marie, what happened to the women these purses, wallets, shoes, and uniforms belong to? You need to mind your own business, Marie shot back, and her red-tinged gray eyes glowed with great disdain for Jane. You have no right going through people's dangs. This is my business. Jane's forehead and neck were on fire. What happened to those women? Like I said, mind your business, lady. Marie rolled her eyes at Jane. Who killed them? Jane moved closer to Marie, seated on the divan. Leave me be. Marie's eyes narrowed and her nostrils flared. I won't. Jane grabbed Marie's arm. Tell me what happened to those women. I ain't telling you nothing, heifer. Marie laughed in Jane's face. Jane hauled off and slapped Marie. I'm not playing with you. Jane's chest rose and fell rapidly. What happened to those women? I's be glad when I get rid of you black ass. Marie rubbed the spot on her face where Jane slapped her, and a seething hatred for Jane shone in her gray eyes. Marie, who are the they that are supposed to get rid of me? Jane got all up in Marie's face. You all find out, heifer, Marie smiled. You think you're so smart, don't you? Marie laughed. You'll be as scared as dim author heifers when your return comes to go. She laughed again. You ain't no white woman. You's a colored woman. So those women were killed. Realizing her life was in danger from an unidentified source, Jane swallowed. Her mouth felt as dry as the Mojave Desert looked. Marie, were those women murdered? Jane fixed her gaze on Marie, who refused to respond to her question by closing her gray eyes and rocking back and forth. Jane, frustrated by Marie's actions, grabbed the fireplace poker and hurried from the parlor to the living room, ignoring the gold door. She snatched the mink coat off the couch and ran into the bathroom, locking the door for protection. When Jane returned the used sage bundle to the tote, after smudging herself and extinguishing it, she discovered another sage bundle. Charlotte must have put it in my tote, she figured. Consequently, she laid the mink coat on the bathroom floor to rest on it. Marie will kill me if she gets the opportunity to do so. Girlfriend was black woman vexed after I slapped her. By now, I'm sure Charlotte has called my cell, and she's going to start worrying when I don't return her calls and emails, and so will Rita. Jane curled up on the mink coat. I wonder if Zora knows what has happened to me. Zora placed a photo of Jane close to her heart as she went to bed and prayed for Jane's safe return.